Alicia Powell with the Gateway Pundit, and here with Larry O'Connor of WMAL. We in Washington listen to you every single day. It's an honor to meet you and talk with you. Wow, it's just been such a tremendous year. What we're facing with immigration and impeachment in 2020 and the Democrat candidates. Who's going to be the nominee in your perspective, Larry? What do you think about the Democrat side?
I hate making predictions. No, seriously, because the news media has now become people going on air and telling you what's going to happen instead of actually talking about what did happen. That said, if I wanted to bet on it, just putting money on it, making it rain, someone has to figure out why Bernie Sanders shouldn't win the nomination, right? If I'm a Democrat, Bernie Sanders is the man. I mean, he's already run. He almost beat Hillary Clinton. He embodies every single radical, socialist, borderline communist idea that Democrats have now embraced. If the Democrats were true to what they really believe and who they really are, they should just give it to Bernie and let him run against Donald Trump. He's the man.
Like you said during your speech, it's not just a done deal that Trump will win.
Oh, no.
As strong as a president as he is, as much as he's accomplished, the odds are we can't surrender and just capitulate and think that it's a done deal, right?
Donald Trump has the Hollywood lined up against him. He's got the music industry lined up against him. He's got academia lined up against him. He's got media lined up against him to the tune of 92% to 8%. We're part of the 8%, by the way. Thank you very much. He's got Washington, D.C. and the establishment and the government lined up against him. He's got the Democratic Party lined up against him. He's got so much lined up against him.
Republicans always have that lined against them, though.
Oh, but to this level, I mean, Donald Trump is times 10 compared to anything that you've seen before. Anyone who thinks that this is going to be a cakewalk, I hope the Trump campaign, the re-election campaign, constantly run right up until Election Day like they are 20 states behind, because they need to have that kind of energy and voters need to have that kind of energy. They have to be ready, just like they were in 2016, to walk across broken glass to vote for this man.
But isn't that why Democrats are resorting to impeachment when all of the corruption's on the Democrat side? They're just master deflectors.
Well, think about it. What does a candidate run on when they want to be president? They want to tell you how they're going to make the country more safe and secure with national security. Well, they can't do that because Trump has already made the country. He defeated ISIS in the Middle East when Barack Obama let it explode across the Middle East. They run on the economy. Well, how are the Democrats supposed to run on the economy when Donald Trump in 3 years has brought us to historic lows in unemployment? The Dow Jones has gone from 18,000 on Election Day to 29,000 right now. These are all the things that a normal president would run on. They can't run on any of those things. So instead, they want to slime him, slander him, and try to make him seem like he's some sort of criminal.
You have the tech. Then you've got tech companies. Another angle. And the president really hasn't done enough on this issue with big tech. I mean, we're all just getting banned on Facebook and Twitter left and right for no reason and no explanation.
Yep. No, listen, it is a tough argument, especially for conservatives, because in a perfect world, a conservative does not want the government to get involved in a private business's affairs. And technically, Twitter and Facebook, they created the playground. They paid for it. They made it. If they want to do that kind of behavior. However, they market themselves and promote themselves to we, the users, as some free even playing field where we can all express our ideas and express them. So they are clearly lying to their customers and lying to the public about what they're offering us. And so at some point, the government does need to get involved to make sure that basic fairness is involved there.
I think this is one of the things that conservatives are so frustrated about is there's no accountability on the left. And they're deflecting everything, projecting everything that they do on us, and they're the ones that are corrupt. Why do you think does the presidency, does the executive office not have enough power to go and arrest Comey and Clinton and all the whole cabal?
Well, I mean, I think we're seeing it's funny, when I interviewed the president the first time, I asked him, why hasn't there been a very real investigation into everything that happened leading up to the event? Now, this was in 2017 when I interviewed him the first time, and he said, it's insane. You would think that I, as president, could pick up the phone, ask my attorney general to investigate all of these things, but he can't do it. It has to happen organically, but we're seeing that with William Barr. We're seeing that with Mr. Durham out of Connecticut. I think we are finally seeing some accountability. If I were James Comey right now, I'd be very concerned about my future.
Nothing's happening yet, but the Democrats seem to have Manafort in jail and Roger Stone facing prison, so we'll see.
Well, on my show this week, Sidney Powell, the attorney for General Flynn, announced that she was withdrawing his guilty plea. So there's one thing that another person that they railroaded and tried to slander, and he's actually going to fight that fight. It takes fighting. It takes, taking it every single step of the way, every single day.
Seems like our side's a little bit more apathetic, right? You see the Women's March, they have big turnout. I was just there today, and they might not know much, but they're passionate, and they're in the cold and 20-degree weather coming from across the country.
Well,
and
you should come to the March for Life. I think you'll see a pretty good march there in a couple of weeks.
Finally,
yes.
The unemployment.
Dress, by the way.
Thank you.
You look fabulous. Does she not look fabulous? We look good as a. Look at us. We look like we're at prom.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So it's the conservative values. They give us our
That's
strength in the morning. Finally, unemployment is at an unprecedented low among African Americans and Hispanics, and yet I think something that's not addressed in the GOP is that a majority of the liberals just brand the conservative side as racist. Trump's a racist. Trump's a Nazi. He's running concentration camps at the border. Yeah. And do you think that the president's really winning 35% of the black vote like the last polls show? Or do you think that we're going to, it just takes 20% of the African-American vote where the Democrats can't win elections anymore? What is the problem here?
Well, it depends on where that 20% comes from. If you're talking about 20% of the vote in Philadelphia and 20% of the vote in Detroit and 20% of the vote of the African-Americans in Milwaukee or in Miami, yes, you're right. Because those are African Americans in states that really matter and will really make a difference. Do I think that the president is going to get 35% of the vote? I have no idea. But I'll tell you this, I think he's making a difference. I think one of the most brilliant political moves I've seen in my adult lifetime was Donald Trump in 2016 going to Detroit, speaking to a predominantly black audience and saying, what have you got to lose? You've been voting Democrat for the last 60 years and look at Detroit. What has it brought you? Give me a chance. And now he can come back to that very same audience and say, you gave me a chance, and now you have historic lows in unemployment. You've got historic numbers of people who have gotten off of food stamps. I now want to give you school choice. I want to now protect your unborn by defunding Planned Parenthood. I care about the African Americans in this country. Give me another 4 years. I think that's a powerful argument. And I'll say one other thing.
Prison reform, too.
And prison.
Kanye West. And
he did. He brought us Kanye with a MAGA hat. See, you didn't expect that. There's another thing. In 2016, everyone told us how the president was going to lose Florida and lose all of these important states because of the Latino vote, because of his immigration stand. And he actually did slightly better than Mitt Romney did with the Latino vote. Again, I don't like to be in the prediction business. He's going to do much better with African Americans in his reelection. And what's really going to shock everyone is he's going to have astounding numbers with Latino Americans, too. And in those states, it's going to make a huge difference.
Let's see the months ahead with impeachment and the wall and all of it's coming.
It's a hell of a year.
Whoever the Democrats pick.
All right. Oh, they're going to pick Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren. Here's the beauty.
Or Biden.
I want them to pick. Think about this. They're going to. Why did Hillary Clinton lose the election? Because she couldn't motivate the African American vote to come out and vote for her, right? Like the way Obama did in those important states like Michigan and in. So think about this. Now they're going to nominate Elizabeth Warren, who is basically Hillary Clinton without the charm. And her one claim to fame is that she took a job that was reserved for people of color by pretending that she was a person of color. Now that's going to bring out the minority vote. Go for it. Yay, Elizabeth Warren.
Well, at the Women's March today, they couldn't decide. None of these pink hat wearers could tell us who they liked for president.
No, that's the biggest. One big problem with the Democrats right now is they can't tell you who they're for.
Yes, they don't know what they're for.
That's right. And the American people ultimately are an optimistic people. And you've got to tell them a reason to vote for you, not a reason to vote against the other person. And that's what Donald Trump has going for him that the Democrats still haven't been able to figure out. Since the day after the election, the Democrats have not told the American people what they're for, only who they're against.
In Russia, in Ukraine, and yeah. Have a great night.
Bye, Jim Hoffman.